lot of it is because we have to, society or how we've raised has been told us to be tough and don't show emotions and things like that. And now that's kind of trying to change to some degree. But this whole idea of being held to a lesser standard, like, oh, hey, good for you to help out the mom, right? You think it hurts guys in the long run, or even in like the next generation?
Mm.
We're just gonna start every episode off
With a drum roll.
kilter here with something random here. So,
It works.
all right, welcome everybody. Welcome. We appreciate you turning in. Welcome to Dad Strong. My name is William. We've got Tyler here as well. We are missing one of our cohorts. He's MIA today. Got some things going on. Totally fine. We'll pick up the slack for him, and hoping that he will join us in the meantime. But if you're new here, we are three gentlemen that are fathers, and we are also personal trainers. And we're going to talk everything dads, parenting, fitness, jokes, of course, the works. So we really appreciate you tuning in. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button on YouTube or follow us on Apple or Spotify as well. So today's topic is a little bit of a heavier one that we're getting into. So the thing that we're going to be talking about is like our dads as men held to a lower parenting standard than moms. So, and can it actually be harmful? So we'll get into that deeper topic here in a little bit. But as we do every single week, we're going to kick it off with, got some jokes. We're going to talk about some wins and fails for the week. And we also will talk about where we're at on our 12-week challenge. If you're new, also, we do have 12-week challenges that we're providing for really anybody. It can be guys, it can be girls, but we provide workouts and nutrition. If you're interested in that, you can visit our website at dadstrong253.com, and there will be a link to our coaching page, and you can see there, and we can talk more about that. But all right, so we'll get into the jokes. Last week, we were kind of taken off guard by Q. He hit us with some little bit of dark humor jokes, so we're going to add some of those to it.
It was just unfair. It was unfair.
I mean, it really, it's. I got to the point where I was like, I don't want to say these silly jokes, and especially when you were like Laffy Taffy joke, and I was like, Bazooka Joe. So, but
it's
whatever.
like somebody pushing you in the back while you're at the urinal.
And the boomerang joke still hit, though. I don't care what anybody says. So,
all right, stick.
Yeah, that's right. And it's funny thing is that's my second stick joke that I've used. So, yeah. All right, I'll let you go first. Start us off.
All right. Well, I will keep it a little lighter just to start, building up some steam here. But do you want to hear a joke about construction?
Oh, I know this one. Damn it. I can't think of the punchline, though.
It's okay, man. I'm still working on it.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, I know it's something about it, and I cannot think of it. Oh man. Where is my list of jokes? Oh, well, I'm gonna go out with this one because it's still funny, lightish, but there's a statistic out there that about Russian roulette, that 5 out of 6 people agree that it is very safe.
There we go. It's better than toothpaste, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 doctors, dentists. Yeah. Maybe the 10th was the one of the bad roulette, Russian roulette.
Right? Yeah, they missed the players. They were supposed to do both poles. I missed it.
All right. So don't challenge death to a pillow fight. Unless you're prepared for the repercussions.
Oh, God.
Repercussions? Yeah. I don't know. There you go.
I heard this one the other day. So we brought it up on the pod, I think last week, of people like guessing my ethnic background. I'm just going to let the bag or the cat out of the bag. So I am Asian. Most people will never know that, but I'm so Asian that my pronouns are he. Yeah. Had to get that one in there.
You could have You could have sold that one better too, though. I'm like,
I
a little
could
more,
have. I could have.
put a little more zest to
Well,
it.
I was about to go a different route, but I was like, no, we're not going to say that one on air yet. We're going to save it for
Okay.
another day.
Okay.
But I will go. Did I say this one or not? I don't know if I said it on air or not. No, I don't think I did, but we'll go with it.
We're gonna start
and if I
repeating
did,
soon. Watch out.
yeah, if I repeated it, because it is hilarious, but why can't two Asians have a white person? I know I said it, but I can't remember.
Right. Yeah.
I don't remember if it was on air or not.
All right. Well, why?
Two Wongs don't make a white.
Well, what's the difference between an enzyme and a hormone?
Oh, wait, didn't Q say this last week? No,
Did he?
I don't remember. Oh, see, here we go, repeating shit.
Well, you can't
Anyways.
hear an enzyme. That's
right.
I hope he didn't say that one yet.
I can't remember if he did or not. He might have. Or maybe he said it off air. I don't know.
It could have been a message sent in the past too.
I could have been, yeah. Who knows? And then let's see here. Trying to find my list.
I can get another one in if you
go
want.
ahead. Yep.
All right. So it's a little morbid, but my dad died when he couldn't remember his blood type. He said, as he died, he kept insisting for us to be positive, but it's hard without him.
Yep. All right. Oh, sorry. The list I have, they're not actually that great. The ones I thought I had.
That's all right. I think we got a pretty good start on there. We can try again.
Well, I'll end with the other silly one that I told you earlier. What do you call a guy who's really loud? You should get this one.
Why is that?
Mike.
There we go.
All right, tune in every week, and then as we say every single time, if you have your own jokes, please comment below, either on YouTube or even if you're listening on the whatever platform you listen to podcasts. And also, we do have a Facebook and Instagram page, so we'd love to hear them. Please share with them, and we'd love to share them with everybody else. All right, next thing we're going to get into is our dad wins or fails or both for the week. I'm gonna start off just because I had a handful of wins this week, so I'm really pumped about it. So first and foremost, my son officially started jujitsu this week, and or last week, I should say. And he was super pumped. He had a trial class. He said he wanted to do it. We kind of held off for a hot minute, but we got him the gi and everything like that, and he loved it, and it was really cool to watch him. It's only a half-hour class right now, but he was figuring it out. They do a lot of basically exercise for the first, I don't know, 15 minutes, and then they get into some technique stuff, and then they play this thing called Thunderball, where you have to run from one side of the mat to the other, and he throws like an ab ball, slightly deflated, and you got to try not to get hit by it. So he loved that. But we went twice.
I see a full Swiss ball flying around, dude.
That's pretty much what it is. It's just slightly deflated. And I saw today there were a couple kids that got just pelted.
Nice.
But they do it where it bounces off the wall, and the kids are supposed to keep their head on a swivel, and this kid did not, just caught him. So that was really cool, and he's really digging it. And he ended up there was a drill where one kid sits on the ground, they have to spin around while the other one's standing, try to get the other kids back, and he ended up getting the kids back. So that was pretty pumped for that one. The other win, if you are following us on Instagram or Facebook, I posted a video asking about how to deal with bullies, and super pumped. My son dealt with a bully in the neighborhood here that we live in. And kid's a bit older, bigger, of course, and just that type of person. And my son is 6, and he handled it super well. He just said, "Hey, I don't appreciate that," and walked away and said, "I will come out and play, but if you're out here, I'm not coming out and playing. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. So, and then there later on the next day, another kid that was out there actually stood up for my son too and told the other kid, like, hey, if you want him to come out and play, we can all do these things. You got to be nice. And if you're not, then don't complain. And I was like, that's awesome. It was really, really cool to see. On the flip side, though, that kid I think he was trying to be funny, but it doesn't matter because he was just doing a thing where I saw him today, like flipping my son off to his face both ways and then trying to run from him. And I'm like, so I had to go out and intervene today. So, but either way,
It's a
multiple
process.
wins.
It's a process.
Yeah, for sure. I was like about to throw something at this kid. But as I stated in the video, I'm not trying to catch case. Don't need that on my record. But other than that, yeah, no, it was a really great week. I mean, kid was off of school, but man, we had a good time, and he like killed it in jujitsu and handled a bully, and I'm like, I'm loving it. So
That's fun. That's fun. Well, good stuff, man. What would be mine?
anything for
I
you?
think my huh?
Anything for you? Win, fail?
Yeah, I think my win, like my son asked me to do kind of an activity with him. Sometimes the kids ask you like if you want to play or go out and do something. It's kind of like you know, a part of you always wants to do it. The other part's like, oh, I just got home for work, or I still got to cook dinner. Whatever the other feel like you need to do's are happening. But I went out and did this. Like we were building like this little. He's got this 124 scale rock crawler RC car that my
Nice.
my dad bought for all the nephews and stuff, and I had one as well. So we were out in the backyard digging holes and making trails and different things to drive these cars over, and multiple occasions throughout those. Like we did it for 2 days in a row. Went out there for a couple hours a day, and um, just to have him be like, I'm really really thankful that you're out here doing this with me, and just talking about how awesome it is. And it's like um, it's good to feel like, okay, that you slowed down, you're doing things that the kid or kids notice and appreciate, and that they find beneficial as well. Like there's plenty of times that like doing stuff with your kids or for your kids like fills your own cup too, but like to know that um you're doing that for them, or like they realize that that's a might not even be, it's not a normal thing. Not all kids, have their dads coming out and digging holes in the backyard with them, or like taking interest in something that interests them,
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
No, it felt good to get some good quality time in, and
Good.
and enjoy the process too. Like, sometimes you do stuff with your kiddos, you're like, well, I'm gonna do this. It's not really for me, this is for you. But
Right.
to like, kind of get into it, I was like, this feels like a big kid version of Legos out there or something. Um, so yeah,
Good.
had a good time. Had a good
Nice.
time connected. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's good. I
Ooh,
mean, it's
excuse me.
always great. Like I said, he had spring break this week, so it was like had a little extra time with him,
Hmm.
and hung out and stuff like that. And he's been showing me a new game called shit, Bloons Tower Defense 6. Like these
I was
little.
asking, I was asking him about that while he was in the break room the other day.
Oh yeah, that's
For your
right. That's
last
right. No,
client
it's
there.
his
I'm like,
new.
well, what you playing there?
Yeah, we've
So, I
migrated from
got all these monkeys and they're doing these things, and I was like,
exactly.
well, that sounds cool.
Yeah, yeah.
He just kept going. He kept going. It was like, you know, a minute long.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
no, if you get him
uh,
started, he will
yeah.
talk your ear
Oh,
off about this. I mean,
he was going to tell me about all of them. He made it about 3 monkeys deep, and I was like, well,
I
that
gotta go.
sounds like fun. I got about. What was that?
Yeah, it's an interesting game. Like it's like you start off and it's like pick a map, and then there's like these balloons that actually float by, and they get more. I guess they get stronger with each as you level up. But you
Mhm.
start off with a dart monkey, and the monkey's just throwing darts at balloons, and then there turns into like a ninja monkey and a super monkey, and then you can upgrade them, and they become just like he's watched a bunch of YouTube
Uh,
videos on it, and now he's obsessed.
oh,
It's like I don't
man.
even know what
He's
Minecraft is anymore. So
yeah.
and
Momentarily.
he
These kind of games kind of, lose their steam after a bit, you know? They
yeah,
get
well, and then the other thing was like
repetitive.
I picked him up on Wednesday, and he'd been watching videos about it, and then he goes, "This is how you know that he's 6." Comes up to me, he's like, "Dad, guess what?" I'm like, "What's up, man?" And he's like, "Hey, the Balloons Tower defense game." And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, can we get it on the iPad?" I was like, "I'm sure, buddy. I could probably take a look at it." I'm thinking free game that has, you can purchase things.
You
This
gotta watch
kid
the
says,
ads
"Yeah."
or whatever, yeah.
No, he he goes, "I got really great news." I said, "What's up?" And he goes, "It's only $7."
Wow, dude, he sold that well.
And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" And he was like, "Yeah." And sure as shit, I looked it up on the App Store. It was $7. And I was like, "I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not paying $7 for an app on my phone. I
Oh, dude,
refuse." Like,
I
I
struggle with
spent
that.
$3 on the Minecraft game, and that's fine, but I ain't spending $7. And I don't care
Yeah.
if y'all come at me in the comments saying it's only $7. Value. So I ain't got it. I ain't got it. However, that being said, I found the game on the App Store. Exact same game. It's connected to your Netflix account. So I downloaded that one, and it's free, and logged in. He's like, "Yeah, this is the game." I'm like, "Perfect. I win." I was like, "So
Uh-huh.
I think his mom paid $7 for the game on her iPad." I was like, "I'm not doing it."
Alright.
Like,
That's a
I,
nice
I
tricky
don't
little
care.
workaround, though. I never think to
Yeah.
check Netflix for any of that stuff.
Well, it was in the App Store, so that was even better. But it was
Yeah.
like, why are they two separate things? And it was like, yeah, you got to log in with your Netflix account. And I was like, well, I'm already paying that, but if I have access to it for free, sure, why not? So, and
Mhm,
actually, I don't even pay
mhm,
for my Netflix account. It goes through my wireless account, my cell phone account. So,
mhm.
but yeah. Anyways,
There you
so yeah,
go.
he
So you do pay
loves
for
that
it, you
game.
just get it in your phone.
Yeah, I get a perk. So,
Yeah.
but he's in the other room playing it right now. I can just hear him like, "Oh, this monkey and this monkey." And I'm like, "God."
Uh, that's why I couldn't tell when he was in there playing it. I was like, "Is he, like, playing online with somebody else?" I was like, "No, I think he's just talking to
It
himself."
does it does have multiplayer, but there's no like chat feature. So,
Okay.
um at least
He
not
was
that
talking to that
uh,
screen like it was one of his best
yeah,
friends.
no, he will do that. He'll be like, he said it the other night. He was just like, "I'm so glad I partnered up with this person." And I was like, "Excuse me?" And then I was like, I realized it's just multiplayer and some people can join the game. You can't really, I mean, he hasn't figured out how to talk to him, and not that he can type, so I'm fine with it. So,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
but sweet. All right. Well,
Yeah.
nice done. All right. So we'll move it on. Let's go to, we didn't talk about it last week, but we're going to talk about it now. 12-week challenge. As I mentioned, we have this going on. I think we're in week 6 starting, something like that, halfway through, starting
Man,
this week.
yeah.
And I know that, I mean, I'll just throw this out there that we all probably had a rough week last week. It seems to be the last couple weeks have been a little
Yeah.
rough going.
It was a
Just
bit of a
finding
speed bump.
consistency. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know how much you
Cattle
want to go into
guard.
detail, but yeah, yeah. I mean, I had my shoulder was bothering me to the umpteenth degree, my upper
Mm.
back. Finally, man, I had been rolling on a massage ball for the last 3 days, and I finally got most of it out. But so I'm hoping for a much better week. Uh, and I mean, I dropped the ball on fitness and nutrition. I was just like, nope, not doing it this week. I did
Yeah.
some things,
Isn't
but
it
let it
I
hit me
find it
hard.
kinda wild that, like, you would think our response to nutrition would be like, "Oh, crap, my body's not allowing me to work out as hard as I'd like.
So you
Let's
shift the other
dial in
direction.
on nutrition," right? But
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I swear for me, it's always like, like the little side card on the side of the motorcycle, right? Like, if I'm not on that motorcycle, then the nutrition's like
it's not going anywhere either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't bring the cart. Like,
Yeah, my greens are over there. What do you want me to do? I can't do anything about it. It just
I mean,
I'm
I still do
lost.
all right, but it's not like dialed in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like I said last week, I don't know what was going on. I just like was not in the mindset for it. I was doing a bunch of other things. And
Mm,
I think even with work, like to see some of the shit like that shifted and hearing about certain
mm.
things and with everything that's changing that's going on there and
Kind of makes you want to
it's
bounce
so
out of theirs. Like, gotta go.
kind of, but it's like I don't know. I find it very interesting that like the new management is already seeing the things that were wrong and that could be fixed easily but aren't,
Hmm.
and but at the same time they feel handcuffed and they're like just going through the motions. And so but I find it interesting, and then hearing information come my way about well my whole situation there. So it's just been, and then having them actually
Hmm.
reach out to me asking certain things. But yeah, it's been interesting for sure to see the dynamic. But and then sometimes I allowed, I was like, oh, I'm gonna work out. I was dealing with shoulder things, whatever the case is. But then having getting stuck in conversation with some of these folks of like them asking questions and them giving their perspective and stuff like that. And it still ends up being like, you know, um, I don't want to say like I'm a confidant, but obviously people still come to me and tell me certain things. But last at the end of the last week though, I had a great conversation with one of the MSRs with Zach, and man, he'd like it's gonna be a damn shame when he goes to the other gym because like that man he's on point and brought me
Oh, is he
by a
going?
couple new
Oh, that's a
people.
bummer,
Yeah, he's going to Lacey because he lives down there, so it makes
man.
sense.
Yeah, he's been killing it.
Yeah,
Been cool
so
to
and it was
watch.
really great because, like, every time he's on tour, he brings somebody and he's looking for me, and it's like it's really cool to
Hmm.
we brought somebody by the other day that was already a member. They bought online, did not come by the gym yet, finally came by, and they were just getting a quick tour, and they knew about the kickoff and everything, but they were like, "Nah, I'm good." And then he brought them by me, and we just chatted, and then she was like, "Yeah, I'll sit down. It seems like he's gonna provide a lot of information." And Zach was like, "Absolutely." So ended up getting it, and it's like I wish they do more, but I digress because
Yeah.
that's part of their job. But still, it's been interesting to. However, I will say too on the front, I dusted off my 60-day mobility program and started doing that 2 days ago. So I'm in day 3,
Okay.
and I'm starting to. We're on the process. Here we go. 2 months. I'm going to be a little more limber than normal.
All right. All
Because
right. That's
Lord
a
knows my hips are smoked right now.
if you're ever starting that while we're both in there working out, then let's get going through it together. Because I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know very many people that couldn't use a little. I mean, yeah, mobility's great, but yeah, like control in that mobile state is
Yeah. Yeah. And
harder
it's
to
like a
come by,
quick
right?
little 10 minutes per day of certain things. So, and
Yeah.
I brought my yoga mat inside. So I'm going to do things there too. But my goal is this week, I'm going to take 3 hot classes. So
Okay.
Koi's going to be happy, but I know that if I tell her that, she's going to be like, "You're lying to me," because I always say that and I never seem to make it. So,
Yeah, they're a bit of an
but
awkward time for a trainer, though. Right.
I'm right. But you know what's crazy is tomorrow I don't have anything until 2 o'clock. So
Okay.
I'm gonna drop the boy off and I'm gonna go attempt this hot Pilates power class and see how much I get cooked in there. Then I'll report back on it. So but, all right. Any goals or expectations that you're gonna try
Man,
this week?
like I've got that been struggling through an injury that might require some surgery here soon. It's been kind of keeping me from being able to lift at least this last week. So I got to find some alternative things or just really buckle in on my diet and my sleep and um I don't know, hit find a cardio that works for me. I don't know. So
Seriously. Hey, I said this like 2 weeks ago. We never did it, but we gotta dust off the pads. So, you know,
yeah, yeah, that might
do
work.
some cardio that way.
Um,
Punch
yeah,
some things, get some aggression out.
hey, it's good for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
feel much
yeah,
better when I get to hit shit.
uh, I'm hoping to get a little bit better workout in this week, and if nothing else, kind of get prehabbed for getting this stupid hernia surgery,
Oh,
and
yeah. God, that sucks, man.
hopefully they've advanced their techniques a little bit since I had one when I was 20 and had that repaired. They're like, oh yeah, you should be back to work in like a week or two, and man, I don't know who they were fooling with that. Like, I remember my dad was making fun of me this time around. I told him about it a couple of days ago here. And he's like, "Oh yeah, are you planning on going on a camping trip again the next day?" Because I was like, I had I had my wisdom teeth taken out when I was in high school,
Oh, yeah.
and my parents like, like I got back from surgery and I felt fine, and like no pain, no swelling, like everything went really well, and I was like, I want to go out,
Right.
like it's Friday night, my friends are out, and my parents wouldn't let me leave, and I was pissed, and then
Yeah.
this hernia surgery came up a couple years later, and my parents were out of town. They were all like, "Oh, you shouldn't have scheduled it. When we're out of town, we'd be able to, come by and bring some food or take care of you a little bit." And I was like, "Ah, it's all right.
I'm good.
I'm
I'm
probably
good.
gonna I'm probably gonna go camping later on this weekend." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And then
Right.
yeah, like man, I was wrecked. Like it was.
Well,
I mean, I've had my ACL replaced and a couple of other surgeries, and like that hernia was like a close second to the ACL. Like
oof.
I was wrecked for a good like 3 weeks. And
Yeah, I had,
given I was going back to construction afterwards, it wasn't like a job where you could
right.
just like sit at a desk or something. But
Well,
not looking
was it
forward to it. I'll say that.
10 years ago? Yeah, 10 years ago, I had my gallbladder removed, which was an interesting thing because talk about a wake up reality check for like eating like shit.
Mm.
I actually had symptoms of it probably 6 months prior to my surgery, but I thought it was like bad food poisoning, whatever the case is,
Hmm.
and had bad stomach ache, vomiting all night, and I was like, "Oh, I'll get it out of my system." And then fast forward, I had what was it like one of those prepackaged microwave breakfast things, you just like Hormel or whatever. And I was visiting my folks and ended up eating that in the morning, and that's all I had. And I just like stomach was in knots, I was vomiting, but I had nothing to vomit. Anyways, took me to the ER that night, and I had a ultrasound. And
Mm.
that dude just jammed that thing in my stomach
Oh yeah,
so hard. Yeah. So get it done. They say, hey, we're fine. Well, we're gonna pass this on to a specialist. So that was a Friday night. Monday morning, I go to see the specialist, and he comes in the office and he goes, "Hey, got your results back." I said, "Great." He goes, "So what are you doing Wednesday?" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I need to get you in as soon as possible." So I go in, I get it done. My incision in my
Yay.
yeah, exactly. Before I go in, they start to give me the drugs to put me under. Or right before that, it tells me, hey, here's what's going to happen. It tells me all the things, and it says basically it's 3 incisions, nothing big. But if it's more of a problem when we get in there, we're going to have to make a 6-inch incision down your abdomen wall. It's going to take you 6 months to heal from. So then he reminds me of that as the drugs to put me down are kicking in. He's like, "Hey, just as a reminder, 3 simple incisions. If it's really bad, though, we're gonna make the 6-inch incision." So yeah, and he's like, "We're not gonna wake you up." And then he starts talking about his trip to Hawaii with the other people in the room. That's the last thing I
uh,
remember. And I wake
he was
up and
already
it's
on
4 hours.
vacation.
Yeah, I wake up and it's 4 hours later, and immediately the first thing that pops in my head is like, do I have a 6-inch incision down my abdomen? And I like lift up my gown, and there's a small incision, but it's actually bigger than what it's supposed to be. Um, but yeah, that, and they said, hey, you'll be able to move. Don't pick up anything more than 10 pounds. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, whatever. So I get the surgery done 2 days later. I was teaching kickboxing, and I was like, yeah. And they're like, are you sure you can teach? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. We didn't use microphones at the time. So I went to go and teach, and I went to just like, hey, everybody. I went, ha! Nope. Like, almost got put down right there. And I was like, tap out, called the other instructor. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
So,
Oh
yeah.
man.
So
That's
noted.
I'm
When
really
they say
really
things about
like,
surgery, you listen. So
yeah, yeah. That's why I'm really hoping for the arthroscopic, the robotic
yeah.
style one, because yeah, my last one was like a incision, good like
Oh yeah.
3-inch across, like cut you and
Yeah. I'm
pull
sure
you
it should
open.
be
I'm like,
better.
man,
I
I
mean,
hope
if
so.
they've improved like ACLs and Tommy John and all that other stuff, so you
Yeah,
would think so. But
yeah.
all right. So that is our
Nice
12-week
derail moment.
challenge. Yeah, right. Just go on tangents here and talk about surgeries and getting old. Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
All right, so let's get into it here. So as I mentioned earlier, topic is, are us as dads held to a lower parenting standard than moms? And does it actually hurt us? I mean, I think society also talks about this. It's I saw, me and Tyler were talking about this before we started hitting record, but excuse me. There was a lady talking about on social media, of course, and she was talking, somebody asked her like where her kids are, and she mentioned about how their dad is babysitting them, and somebody commented or came and replied to that video of just, as a dad, it's, they're 50% you. That's your responsibility. You signed up for it, whether you're with the mom or not. I mean, in my situation, I'm divorced, and my son's mom and I are separated, but it's like, it's still my responsibility. And so he went on to say, like, when he takes his kids, it's just like, oh, look at you giving the mom a break. And, but if the mom is out there by themselves with the kid, everybody gives praise. Oh my God, you're so strong. You're so this, you're so that. But if a dad does, it's like, oh, that's nice of you to give them a break. Like,
Yeah,
what the hell
it's
is going
you
on?
know it's even small
And
comments like, if a mom was out at a park with kids watching them play at a playground, they wouldn't come up and be like, "Oh, well, where's dad at?" Right? Like, but if a dad's at the park with kids, like, "Oh, well, what's mom doing right now?" It,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's an
like,
interesting little
right. And
perspective,
it's like, it's kind of, and I don't even know when that could have happened in society. It's like, we, granted, we talk about one of the hardest jobs out there is being a parent. And at the same time, when you hear that phrase, they say a lot. I've heard it in the past. It's like, hardest job on the planet is being a mom. And I'm not trying to diminish anything about being a mom. Man, moms are superheroes, and they do an absolute crap ton, and everything like that. And I mean, just giving birth alone, I ain't like, there ain't no way.
right?
But there's a comedian that said it best. He said, what did he say? Oh, somebody asked him, his wife asked him, like, what do you think is more painful, giving birth or getting kicked in the nuts? And he said, I'm going to say getting kicked in the nuts. And she was like, excuse me? And he goes, well, I'll put it to you this way. He goes, when a woman has a child a year later or so, they're like, you know what? I think we should have another one. It's like, you'll never hear a dude turn around and go, you know what? I'd like to get kicked in the nuts again.
I like that.
And I was like, I mean, and she paused. She was like, that's a good point. But, so I feel like
Yeah. You don't get
my
babies
perspective on,
from getting kicked in the nuts either, though. Or, yeah,
no,
it's
no.
not like you get kicked in the nuts and somebody's like, "Here's a puppy."
Yeah. You might lose some kids if you get kicked in the nuts if you're trying to have some more later on, but
yeah.
your count just went down. Call that birth control.
See, after all those dark humor jokes, like my brain just went somewhere. I'm like, nope, 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 nope. Bring it back in. Bring it back in. Hold that one. Keep that one to yourself. Wait till
we'll
you're
put
off
that
air.
in the bank.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. I'm curious to hear your perspective on it because it's like, I mean, in my situation, it's like I said, I have my son 50% of the time. So, when I go and do things and it's just like, it is me doing all these things and, I get praise at times, but it's just like, oh, like I said, I've had that in the past of like, oh, what's the mom up to? And now I'm like, mm, people that know me know like that we're separated, we're divorced and all the things. That it's just me. But society is coming across as like, and also, I mean, it's not just society saying things. There are those dads that do not participate. They do not
Mm,
check in with not only their partner, or wife, or spouse, or their kids too. They're, the what's the phrase I saw? A dusty dad, right? Like, are you present with your kids and things like that? And a dad with the relationship with the kids is gone, whether it's a girl dad, boy dad. I mean, in your case too, Tyler, you're both, right? I'm just a boy
mhm.
dad, so um and that relationship is very important. It just looks vastly different than the mom side of things. I mean, moms seem a bit more caring. And I mean, you and I talked about this at work, and we talked about this in the pod a few weeks ago when like your son was running and you just intrusive thought stuck your foot out to trip him.
Yeah.
And I find myself doing
I'm
that stuff
sure
with my
I'm
son.
sure
I'm
I've done
like,
that to my daughter before too, so,
oh
it's
yeah, absolutely. But like even with my
come
kid,
at
I'm
me,
just
man. I
like
mean,
there are a
come on.
couple times yeah, there's a couple times I'm just like, "Oh," and he'll be looking cute and, like, innocent, and I'm just like, "I think a body slams in him." And I'm
Mhm,
just,
mhm.
"Gah!" So, yeah, I mean, I feel like definitely there is the standard, and I think it's because society has painted dads as this picture of like, oh, they don't do as much as moms, but for more of the nurturing side of things, maybe that's where it comes from. I don't know.
I think it's when you see a dad interacting, on a level of, like or on a level with that's attached a bit to emotion, or especially at the younger ages too.
Mm,
And I think it probably becomes a little more apparent or evident again as they get older. Like, I feel like the stage I'm in now, it's kind of balanced out a little bit more. So I guess I'll go back, when, my kids were, baby stage and, up till, like, just getting into school, I was a stay-at-home dad. So, yeah, you get a lot of, I remember, it was, my son wasn't born yet, but it was just my daughter, and she's getting to this age where what was it, like, probably 2, 2.5, probably 2.5 to 3, where for a while there, like, your kids are at a stage where you can put them on a play mat and they'll goof around with, little toys or, sound makers. And you can kind of like, all right, now I'm going to put around and clean up, as long as you're like in that area with them. But she got to this stage where, like, if I wasn't locked in and giving her all my attention, she was throwing a fit. Right. So I was like,
right.
well, this is a time. And like, I can't remember the name of the book off the top of my head, but it kind of outlined developmental, like cognitive development at different stages and
Mm,
different ages.
yeah.
And I remember us looking at that and be like, oh, she's falling right into this. Like, she just needs you to be like, she needs somebody dialed in all the time, right? It doesn't have to be
Right.
me, but like if it was a sibling or, the mom or the dad, somebody. So I was like, she's like, walking up to the front door and like pointed at the door, like, I want to go outside. I'm like, well, all right, summertime. So I'm just like
Right.
walking around the neighborhood. She's, walking from yard to yard and toddling around. And I had a postman, like a mailman, doing his route and just like stopped, like walked up to me. I was like, "Well, what's up?" And he's like, I just want to say, like, it's really admirable to see a dad out here with his daughter. Like,
Oh God.
these are, beautiful, beautiful time. Like, it's a, cherish it. And, like he was really nice about it and
Right. Like that
very
backhanded compliment
encouraging.
almost.
But it was like, I remember like walking away going like, but yeah, I'm just like, I'm being a dad right now. Like, it's just
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
But that's like my, that's my version of parenting. That's my version of being a dad.
Right.
And while like my dad was involved with things, but like he was they were set up in a way when I was growing up that he had to be at work like
Hmm.
always, right? And then even
Yeah.
at that time, my wife was at work a lot, right? But um, yeah, so I think it's just different. There, I feel like there's a slightly different standard of like if somebody overhears you like trying to teach your kid, like not that everything's a life lesson, but talking through their emotions with them or they fell down, they're crying, all right, I'm gonna go over and pick them up, make sure they're all right. Like
Yeah.
people see that kind of stuff and are just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe dad's doing that. And so
Right. They,
i
you know,
think
I
i
mean,
think that in itself is probably a big part of it. And I hope it changes over time. Like I hope, the movement does keep going towards like being active and present and being okay with showing a little emotion to your kid or vulnerability and all that. So
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that, it's that thing where, like I said, there is a the stigma, right?
Mm,
Being a male and a man, it's like you hear all these things. It's such a double-edged thing. It's like, oh, guys are supposed to be a provider. You're supposed to be this. You're supposed to be strong. You're supposed to do all these things. You can't show emotions, and then if you do, you're viewed as weak in this way, and all this other stuff. And same thing about being a dad. There's so many dads that have been shit dads out there that weren't in their kids' lives, or they weren't a good influence, or whatever the case
yeah.
is, not a good
Passing on their
person. And
trauma.
yeah, yeah, or they whatever left, went into a different relationship, and then like they see their kid whenever they see their kid, and at least on one hand you can say that, like, hey, they participate, but are they really there? I mean, I've seen situations where dads see their kids, however often they see it, but it basically comes down to like the fun uncle. You're right. They're not really connecting. They're just taking their kids to do fun things.
Mm,
And that's all great, but you're not really being a dad. You're just being, like I said, a fun uncle, a bigger sibling. And so when you have people that have those situations, and then it's like looked upon like, oh, yeah, hey, great job being a dad. Because it's like, oh, I know, I've talked to people that this person's, got kids and their dad's not even in their lives. I mean, there's somebody I just told you that said hi to us, that we knew from the gym. She was telling me about how her son's father was not in his life, and he questioned a lot of things down the road. And I feel like
mm,
that has
mhm.
brought stuff up. I mean, I've even mentioned it on this, where my dad said that he was a bit jealous of my relationship with my son, because it's very different than my relationship with him. And so it's interesting to see guys that do get praised, because you just said it, you're like, I'm just being a dad the best that I can. But society is painting this picture where, you know what? No, hey, that you're going above and beyond what either they experienced or what they know.
I
I
think
mean,
that
you could,
I think that word probably like sums it up well and well is experience because what
right.
you experienced growing up is what's going to or what you experience like seeing too. Like, oh, if you
Hmm.
see this person and their parent, or you see one of your buddies interacting with a kid, or something that you're just like, "Ooh, I like the way they said that," or,
Yeah.
I liked when my dad did like, my dad used to take us, me and, like, maybe, like, one of my cousins or a friend or maybe it was my brother, but we'd go out, um, like, hunting once a year, every other year, something like that,
Some white people
and,
shit.
yeah, it was, like, over, yeah, Eastern Washington, like, out in the farms and stuff. It was rock chuck
I'm
hunting.
I'm
Um
I'm sure there are minorities that hunt, but
um, but that was like, um, you know, I think, more like a way to spend some time or bond and have some moments. And I look back on it and like I was thankful for some of the lessons, but two, like looking back on it, there was some good times and whatnot too. Uh, but what you experienced growing up, I think can help. I mean, definitely helps. With what you want to do, and I think just as much can be a big influence on what you don't want to have happen,
Right.
or how you don't want to be that same person, right? So
Oh yeah, we talked about this once before, like breaking the cycle, right? Like
yeah,
you don't
yeah.
want to be that person, which is I think, I mean, I'm gonna say it, but I feel like that's pretty standard. Like as we become
I feel
adults,
like it
and then
should be. Yeah.
you become a parent. You look at everything that your parents did for you, good, bad, indifferent, whatever the case is, and the mindset is like, I just want to be the best version I can, slash, like, I'm gonna make sure I don't do those things. So is he walking behind me? I think I
Hmm.
saw a little bit. So, go. Gotta he just wants to be part of the show.
Hmm.
I get it.
Yeah, my rest of my garage is facing the other way. Otherwise, yeah, my son would have been in the background a couple times, tiptoeing in.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but he's like sitting right behind me. I'm like, yeah, creeper. Um, but
It's-
You know,
Mhm.
yeah, you can see him like right there. It's like,
Mhm.
and he was really cute. He's like, I just want to be in here, and I'm like, buddy, no.
I know, I know.
Um,
Maybe one of these days we'll figure out a way
yeah,
to do
well,
it.
we'll
But
have him actually talk on the episode, but
hmm
so you're doing the best you can with what you got. But I feel like at the same time, you're gonna get I'm sure you know people. I know people. They have those situations where, man, they did not have. I think in the male side of things, right, they did not have a great father in their relationship, and that's unfortunate. And you can tell. I mean, there's science and there's studies out there that's saying like the kids that don't have a father in their life consistently, or it it does change them and makes them feel like you need that interaction. But I
hmm
feel like, at least for me, if my dad wasn't around and whatever my trauma was with that and stuff like that, I mean, it's hard to speak from it because it didn't happen, but I look at it as going, if that happened to me, then if I have my son, man, I want to be the best version. I do not want my kid to go through what I went through by any means. Like we all want to
mm,
do that, right? On some level, like, hey, I went through this. I don't want my kid to experience it. But at the same time, they're going to experience their own version of it one way or another.
yeah.
Um, but having that, like that absentee, but so if that's you, but yet you end up running as well, or maybe the relationship didn't work out, that's fine, because that happens. I mean, the divorce rate's like what, 55%, but at the same
Yeah.
time,
It's catastrophic.
um
Yeah.
yeah, and oh, heaven forbid, if you've already been married. Did I talk to you about this, like what the divorce rate is if you've already been married? It's
Mm.
like 70% divorce rate. So your
If you
second
try,
marriage.
like if you say you try again,
Yeah.
yeah,
And like
yeah.
part of me is like, man, I think I want to get married again. I saw that, I was like, do I?
I see. I heard a funny, or it's kind of a cruel slash funny joke about divorce. He's like, divorce rate's 55%. He's like, and that's only with the people brave enough to actually do what they want to do. I'm like,
Right.
ooh, like,
Yeah.
um, not that that's what
But
I want to do. If
right.
anybody's ever listening to this, but
Yeah, yeah. But so I
um,
think like it's interesting to hear those people that, like you said, they didn't have a father, and that's unfortunate. And then you have a kid, you have the right, you have a chance to break that cycle, as we've talked about in the previous episode, and you actually continue it, if not make it worse. And so then you hear stories about it, and it's like, oh, yeah, because the
yeah,
moms always are there, and why is it that the dads just dip out? And I mean, there are moms that do dip out. You don't really hear
hmm
about them, or the moms are they're on drugs or whatever the case is. I mean, it's very rare
yeah.
to hear a mom just leave because they're not ready, because
Some
you
just
have
like
that
I'm not
maternal
ready to be a
bond.
mom. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
and
never
you have
know.
that maternal bond that happens, but and it's very sad when something like that happens. I mean, it's sad for any parent to dip out on their kids, but like you hear more about the dad just being going, "I'm out,"
Mm.
uh, and it's
I
like,
think it was just
really?
more of a common story to hear. And
Yeah.
I wonder if the depth of that stemmed more from the ability to leave and not be found, like, back in the day
Mm,
a little bit more, where I feel
probably.
like that's a little less common. People, there's a little more ways to track people with the social media and the
Yeah. Yeah.
bills and credit cards and all that kind of stuff nowadays. But it makes me wonder
Yeah.
if it was like, oh, like, kids are with their mom, like, I don't know. I guess that could have gone both ways back then too, but I
Yeah.
think
I mean,
men
it's
were
interesting.
were allowed to start a second life, or like it was normal for a man to be single and in a new spot. Where if a woman went to a new spot and was, single
Oh,
out
yeah.
of
Where's your
nowhere,
man?
people saw it as like a,
Right.
yeah, why are you on your
Yeah.
own?
Yeah. Yeah,
You know.
like, "Oh, hey, where's your husband? Where's your boyfriend?" It's like,
Hmm.
whenever a guy does it, it's like, "Oh, hey, you're doing this on your own." Like, the
Yeah,
same
hey
thing, like,
Frank. Yeah.
if you're a single guy with a parent, like, you get these backhanded compliments to some degree, but they're just like, "Oh, wow, that's really brave of you to do this on your own." "Excuse me?" Like
I'm brave. I'm being so brave right now.
Yeah. I mean, it was
Yeah.
a long time that like, so my grandparents actually got divorced. I didn't even know. Like, it
Mm.
was never talked about until I was older, but I just looked at it like I remember just almost I've talked about this before, like, I have a phrase, right? "It's okay to be ignorant. Ignorance has a negative connotation, but you don't know what you don't know." And when I was younger, I had my grandfather, my grandma, and I had another grandma. And I remember my dad would always refer to, Grandma D, and that was my grandfather's wife. But for the longest time, I didn't know that that meant that he got remarried, and
Mm.
so because he would always refer to her as D, and then called my grandfather Dad, and then when we'd see my other grandmother, he'd call her Mom, and I didn't know anything about this, like, it wasn't talked about. The people
Hmm.
that I hung around too all came from, they all had their moms and dads and stuff like that, so I didn't know anything about what a step-parent was or anything like that until much later in life, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And it was interesting to see that dynamic play out later on in life. My dad had a good relationship with both his parents, but there was definitely some touchy subjects on certain things. Like my grandmother, she would drink from time to time and she would just go off about my grandfather. And, my dad, like a few times,
Mm.
was be like, "No, you're not about to talk about him like that. It's like your guys' differences were what your differences, and that's why you split. But you're not going to be in my house and talk bad about him." I was like, "Whoa, okay."
All right.
But once again, my grandfather was like he was still there for his kids. So this is an interesting dynamic, but I find it interesting. Like we've talked about, like it's just, and I think the other question is like, do you feel that because of this, and I hate to be on like a soapbox in the sense of going like, I'm not saying that guys have it tougher than women or anything like that. We have our own issues that we deal with, and a lot of it is because we have to society or how we've raised has been told us to be tough and don't show emotions and things like that. And now that's kind of trying to change to some degree. But this whole idea of being held to a lesser standard, like, oh, hey, good for you to help out the mom, right? You think it hurts guys in the long run, or even in like the next generation, like because that's still happening, even though we're trying to change the perception of what a
Hmm.
good dad looks like, or even just being a dad. You don't have to be a great dad, just being a dad, being there for your kids, being present, um, holding your responsibilities, things like that. But it feels like maybe to a lesser person, they get hit with that and it hits them sideways, and they're like, "What's the point?" Right?
Yeah. I think my short my short answer for that is like yes. I think it's bad for us to kind of see that. I mean, I can only like imagine as a kid, like or as like my son, if like he saw that, people saying that to me, or like if he got that in his head as he grew up, that like, oh, I don't have to try. I mean, it's yeah. If you don't think you have to try as hard because like people are like, it'll be okay. Like
Yeah.
that's just what dads do, right? Um, then I think that's the same. Like if you don't like whatever standards get set for you or that you set for yourself, if they're not high, then you're probably not going to, you know, try hard enough to excel or be good in your field or be good as a dad at home or at work or what or at school.
Well,
If parents are like, "Oh, it's okay. You can get, D's or C's," then the odds of you getting A's in school are probably going to be pretty low, right? Like,
right, right. You got to set the expectation,
yeah, it
set the
doesn't it
standards.
doesn't matter if you're late from work from time to time. Like, well, shoot, then what's the point in showing up on time? Nobody cares, right?
Right.
So I think if there's a standard or an assumption made on, or or if you have seen it kind of set like, oh, people don't care if I'm a good dad or not, then I think you're I think there's a good possibility for a larger, percentage of, dads out there to not put in the effort or not put in that extra work or, the attention or whatever it happens to be, the love, the
Right.
the parenting, the teaching moments. If if society sets a lower standard, then people are going to have a lower output. I mean,
Yeah, and I think if the people hear this, whether the societal norms, right? Like it's they're like, "Oh, well, what's the point of exceeding that if I'm just gonna get typecasted as this?" Right? It's like
mhm.
you should be you should be going above and beyond. I mean, I don't know. It's how I kind of feel as a dad, and I know I struggled with it for a hot minute in the beginning of like I just want to be the best dad I can be, not only for me but for him, but being the best human in general.
Mm.
And man, I
It's
struggled
the
with
dad
when
guilt,
people would
yeah.
get yeah, and when people give me compliments, right? Of just like, "Oh, you're a really great dad," and I'm, like, over here cringing inside, like, "Oh, I don't think I am," like, the we talked about the
Mm,
dad guilt, but I'm like, "I could do better.
yeah.
There's always something I could do better," and that's just in general, you can do better with a lot of different things, but, if you default to you let the, societal norms become your standard instead of like exceeding like we're all going to mess up, we're all human, right? We're going to make our mistakes. We
Mhm.
talk about it all the time on every episode. We talk about there's that moment where a generational trauma comes out or your parent comes out or you make a mistake and you do something, you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said it that
Mhm.
way. And whether you check yourself or somebody else checks you, and it's like, but making sure you do better, whereas some guys don't, right? And it's I heard,
Yeah.
was it on a podcast, I think it was Matthew McConaughey. He got asked, like, "What do you think makes a great dad?" And his answer was like, I mean, the best answer, in my opinion, was time, right? Like, there's not one
Mm.
thing you can do to be like considered a great dad. It's literally a lifetime of
It's a
things. I mean,
lifetime job, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I hope that when I'm no longer on this planet, one day that, whatever my legacy is with other humans and adults is one thing. It can be whatever. I don't really care too much about that. I don't really care about what anybody thinks about me, for the most part, but I do care if what my son thinks about me. So,
Mm.
if I leave this earth and he's learned a lot and he implements whatever he implements from me and makes his own, and can say at the end of the day that like he had a great dad, man, that's a win for me. But I mean, I won't be around to hear it.
Yeah.
At least at
Yeah.
that point in time, I mean, he'll tell me stuff now. It's like, oh, he loves me, and that I'm doing, and that I'm really great, and I'll take it. On the other hand, on a side note, though, it's like I told him. So I don't know if you do this, Tyler, but I do it. If he has food or whatever, or snack, and I'll see like a Lunchable, for example, I'll take one, and I'm like, Dad, tax.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, told me the other day, and he was like, He goes, "Can you not do that?" I was like, "Look, buddy, I'm gonna tell you," I was like, "I will ease off of it." I was like, "A dad tax is kind of a staple." I was like, "It has happened to me. It has happened to your grandfather. It has just been passed down." I was like, "That is one thing I will pass down." I go, "And when you get older and you have your kids, you will probably do it too." And of course,
Mm,
being 6, he's like, "No, I won't." I'm like, "Okay,
yeah.
sure."
You
I was like, "I
know,
can't wait for that day to be like, aha, I told you."
yeah, right. You're gonna be like walking through the house, you're gonna hear it.
That's it.
That's it. I
What did
knew
I
it.
say? Say it again. Put it on
Um,
record.
uh,
So
but I kind of want to acknowledge too that like, we're a small sample group, right?
yeah.
And while we've both got 40 plus years of existence and a good chunk of years into parenting, like I only have my experience growing up and my experience parenting right now, and like in that I've seen like friends and family and siblings and cousins and other people going through similar stuff, but like I know parenting situations with when your kid comes into your life and how old you are and how good of a relationship you're in, or there's so many different factors in that, like I mean honestly I'm very privileged to still be in a good relationship with my wife, and you know um speaking terms with parents, and
Yeah.
I have a lot of uh perks and a lot of things in place to help me out, and people to talk to. I might not always be great about reaching out to them, or
It's
uh
guy 101.
but even times like this, like us being able to talk and bounce things off, and it can show me that like uh I am privileged, and privileged to have two great kids as well that are both healthy and well adjusted, and um
Well, I
so
wouldn't go as far. I mean,
so
I guess you could say it is a privilege, but I would say honestly, looking at it from a perspective of just being like grateful that it has gone the way that it has, right? It's like you got
mhm,
just this like all this grace that it happened for it. I mean, and that it's been a team effort. And some people don't have that in their lives.
yeah.
And so I wouldn't necessarily call it a privilege, right? I mean, at least that's
Well,
how I view it.
not
It's like
privilege in the sense of like things are given to me or handed to me, or like,
right.
oh yeah, all this, here's all this, money, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
things sprinkled upon you. But I'm privileged in the sense that like the decisions that the environment I was brought up in, and the decisions that I've made,
Yeah.
and the decisions that I've made with my wife have set us up to be comfortable. Not
Right.
like we're balling out of control or anything like that, but comfortable enough to put kids in sports, and have a roof over our head. Like, we're not, you know,
Yeah, there's a lot of
we're
people out there
not we're not
struggling.
struggling hard through
Yeah.
life. Like we're working hard through life, but
Right.
um,
Yeah, and I mean, right now it's hard for everyone, honestly. But
hmm,
it's there's some people got it worse than others for sure.
hmm,
But yeah, no, it just comes down to just being having that gratitude for how things are. Like I said, I remember when I was going through my divorce, I was like, I was kicking myself, man. I struggled a lot on one the marriage ending. Like I was willing to do a lot of different things to keep the marriage together because I didn't want to be a statistic. At the end of the day, like that was a big driving force. Like I still obviously had feelings at the time, and I wish my kid's mom the absolute best, but at that time I was like I'm willing to do anything to keep this marriage together, and I was trying to do it for the family, and Lord knows that
hmm,
was the wrong reasonings for it. And then I was like, I went through a bout of depression because it was like, oh, now we're separated. We don't live in the same house. Logistically, how do we do this? And,
hmm.
struggled with the fact on the days that I didn't have my kid. And I still do to some degree on the days that I don't have him. But man, at the same time, that's where that guilt comes in is like the days I don't have him and I'm free to do whatever I want. I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. Ugh, that feels guilty to say out loud. I mean, I've
Yeah.
talked to you guys about this,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
both you and Q have your kids all the time, and on one hand, man, I wish, right? And at the same time, it's like, it is a blessing, and it causes a lot of guilt to not have that, because those days where I'm like, "I don't have them," I'm like, "Man, this sucks to not have them," but I'm like, "Whew, I got
No,
it's just
there's
me."
value
So,
to time to yourself,
yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
or
And
or
so I
time
like
to be able to
that
go
was the
and connect
struggle,
with
like having
a
that.
friend or something.
Yeah, but, like, having those battles in the beginning, like, "God, man, I'm just a statistic. I don't want my kid to grow up a certain way." You see people come from split homes, da da da. I'm like, I can't focus on that. I'm just, when I've got him, I'm gonna be the best that I can, and even when, I'm not around, and I've tell him this all the time when he's with his mom, if any point in time he wants to call me, he can just ask his mom, and she has agreed, is like, she will FaceTime me, and if I'm available, I'll take it, and I always try to make time for him, so it's just finding
Hmm.
different ways to be there for your kid and hope for the best, and, we try not to spread that generational trauma. Do things a little bit differently nowadays,
Yeah,
so,
yeah, yeah.
we'll have
Well,
to
I
get
mean, to
Q's
to
perspective for sure,
yeah, I mean, to
so.
kind of wrap that topic up, like I think yes, there's a lower standard, and I think as a society and as you know, a man, a dad, a friend, like we should all start kind of lifting each other up and holding each other to higher standards.
Absolutely.
It's a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous thing to give somebody parenting advice unless they're asking, right? But like,
Yeah.
sometimes we need that, like, yo, like, bring your kid, or let's get all our us and our kids together and hang out, or I don't know what it is. I don't have the fix all answer by any means, but I think
No one does,
community,
and we just trying to figure it out as
more
we go.
community, more
Oh, yeah,
love,
community's huge.
more talk, and more you know action together, I guess. Like,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
and the funny thing is about it, you said it best, right? Like, not always great about reaching out, and I think that's guys in general, right? We always are, like I said, the stigma is a strong silent type, and nothing bothers us, and realistically, everything freaking bothers us, but we are
mm,
ridiculed, or I don't want to say ridiculed, but looked at differently when you try to be vulnerable. And then, I mean, I've seen it so many times where people are like, I just want a man that's going to be vulnerable, and then they be vulnerable and they're
mm,
like, ah, you're weak, I can't deal with you, like, or
yeah,
those stupid rage baiting videos that are like, oh, a girl went on a date and I was like, oh yeah, it was really wonderful, he was nice, I think he was a little too nice. It's like, what? And
mm,
so it's all of that types of things. And so then when guys tried to be open up about it, I mean, there was a viral clip that went out. It was like this guy, older guy, went out to the shed and he's sitting out in his backyard and patio or something like that. And he had a spool. You may have seen this, a spool of wire that he had, and he bought it. It was a big spool apparently, and he was like, the wife was like asking him like, "Are you okay?" And he was like, "Oh, I just saw this spool and it's gone." And he's like, I bought this like 15 years ago. It was huge. And, like, and he's like, now it's gone. He's like, and it just hit me that it's like 15 years of my life passed. And it was kind of emotional. And she kind of played it off like, okay, well, that's great, but I just want to make sure you're okay because you're wearing your Jets hat and you only wear that when you're depressed. And I was like,
uh, so you didn't
and so
listen.
here's,
Yeah,
yeah,
there was
so
no
here he is
pickup.
just
There was
being
no pickup.
vulnerable. Yeah, he's being vulnerable, and it just got, pushed to the side. And so then guys and then women wonder why we're not, because it's like sometimes you inadvertently say things, you may not mean it, but you inadvertently say things where a guy is trying to find the words to open up, and maybe it doesn't come out the way that you would like it to be communicated, or it's received one way or another. I mean, I run into that problem all the time. It's like I say something and in my head it sounds a certain way, but it comes out a completely
Mm,
different, and it ends up being a whole hot mess of a different thing. So,
yeah, that's probably
yeah.
some reading I should be doing here in the near future is uh communicating like emotions better. Like when you're having those deeper conversations and you're trying to like come up like I find myself like even when I'm talking with my wife and we're trying to have a discussion, I'm trying to like tell how I like portray how I'm feeling in words. It's like I get stuck, like, oh,
Hmm.
like, you know, the words from like anger or different areas like, you know, bubble to the top because that's what you're used to saying
Right.
or you're used to hearing. But it's like, how do I get across my message in a way that's productive when
Right.
you know when you don't have the
Well,
right
yeah.
thesaurus.
Yeah. And then, of course, you could say, in your head, you say it right, and everything is in line, but maybe it comes out in the wrong tone.
Mm.
And like tonality
Hmm.
is huge. And we know this because even with the job that we do, tone comes out a certain way. It may trigger something in them. And yeah, we're not responsible for your triggers to some degree, but it can take the conversation into a conversation where you're trying to express, and now it's an argument because you said something a way that was perceived in a different way. Whatever the case is, that's just a thing. I mean, I've seen so many things where it's just like guys struggle with that. It's like you said, we struggle to ask for help. We struggle to convey our emotions, and when we do convey our emotions, it never comes out right, or we're looked at a different way, or so finding ways to do it, and then it's just, but that's like doing your internal work, but also doing the work with your partner.
Mm.
And sometimes it can be receptive, but if your partner's also not in a growth,
Build with you
calm
mindset.
space,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it can go very bad. So, oh, there's
Hmm.
the tiny human back there again, hanging out on the
Yeah.
beanbag. He just
Well,
wants to be
man,
part
it's
of it.
probably
So,
probably time for us to be wrapping up anyway,
yeah,
right?
well, I'll let him come over here real quick so we can. Calvin, come here.
You get in, you want to hear you he wants to hear a joke.
Well, yeah, let me come here. Come here, dude. Oh, you say what's up? Talk in the microphone.
Hi.
Hey, what's up, gal?
He says hi. Can you
Oh,
wave to everybody on the camera?
that's right. He doesn't have the yeah.
No, he doesn't have the headphones. So, all right, you made your appearance. Get out of here. um, well, now he's gonna be famous.
Yeah, right. Somebody's gonna have something
well,
negative to say somewhere, right?
oh god, yeah. Why'd you put your kid on camera?
I
Man,
can't
mind your
believe
goddamn
it.
business. Yeah,
Yeah.
like people can
All right,
come,
Will.
whatever. All right,
You
so
don't
uh,
you don't need a parachute to go skydiving, sir.
I don't
But
need
you
a pair
do
of
need a
shoes.
parachute to go skydiving twice. So
Oh god. I thought you said a pair of shoes. I was like, wait, what?
oh,
I was like,
well, you
oh,
probably still want
parachute.
those. You
I
probably
was about
still
to say
want
you might
those
want a
too.
pair of shoes too. So,
Yeah.
um, all right, let's see here. Uh, get some darker. These are darker dad jokes. Uh, some have told me that I might need anger management. I don't need anger management. I need people to stop being idiots.
Yeah.
Ooh, here we go. This is a good one right here. Sleep is my favorite hobby. I don't know if you know this. I'm so good at it, I can do it with my eyes closed.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's good. That's good. Uh, so, so I child-proofed my house, right? But somehow they keep getting back in.
Nice. I've heard that one before, I think. Let's see here. What do I got? What do I got? Um, ooh, yeah, this one came to mind. I've got a great joke about procrastination. I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
Mm,
Uh,
you got one more?
yeah. So I started crying when my dad was cutting onions. Man, he was such a good dog.
Uh,
All right.
I mean, this can kind of go into it. I tried to fix my life. Turns out it's like IKEA furniture, missing key pieces and no instructions.
Yeah, there we go. Just got 3 screws left over.
That's supposed to go somewhere. I don't know.
Oh no.
All right. Well, we appreciate everyone for tuning in this week.
Yes,
we
thank
try
you
to keep
much.
it on the lighter side to start and end. Of course, we like to have these deeper conversations, man. Tyler, I really appreciate having this. We'll get our man Q on it next week as well. We'll ask him some of these questions and see what his take is on it as well. As usual, though, please support us and help us continue to do this work. It's been a thrilling couple months here doing this and branching into this world. And so please subscribe, like, find us on Instagram, DadStrong253, DadStrong253 on Facebook, and also, of course, on YouTube. So if you're watching the pod, you'll see our lovely faces on the video, Apple, Spotify, the works. So we would appreciate it. Smash that subscribe button, like us, give us comments, feedback, of course, if you have any jokes, all this stuff. Once again, dadstrong253.com is our website. So if you go to that website, you will be able to find all the links for everywhere you can find to listen to us or watch us. You'll also find our coaching page as well. So we have our 12-week challenge that we do. You can also reach out to us for if you want individual, personalized coaching and training. The 3 of us all are personal trainers, and between the 3 of us, we've got almost 40 years of combined education and training experience. So, that's about all I got. Tune in next week.
Weird.
We'll figure out. Huh? What's weird? 40 years?
I said that's weird to say. Yeah, 40 years of experience.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's just like, it's like closer to 35, actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
God, Jesus, feel old.
Still.
I mean, it's like, I think somebody's, what is it? One of our old coworkers, when he first introduced me to one of his clients, he's like, he's got over 20 years of experience. And I was like, do I? And I was like, oh God, I do. Jesus. Yeah. So that's a knife in the heart, make you feel old.
Yeah, I knew going to go take a shower, wash that off me.
Seriously, I'm like, oh, play Frogger, and survive. For those people that are old enough, you'll get that reference. What's the new game? Crossy chicken Crossy. It's like Frogger.
Oh yeah,
whatever it is.
Yeah, like
this
that.
generation's
What was
version.
Flappy Bird came out at the same time.
Oh yeah. So
yeah.
Anyways, so all right, people. Well, we appreciate you as always. Find us, subscribe to us. We appreciate the support. And I mentioned this once before. Last thing I'll say is our merch shop is coming. Putting the final touches on it. It should be up and running within a week. So I'm wearing a sweatshirt right now. So if you tune in, you can see that, and we'll have some fun stuff on there. As always, we appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out.